Hey guys, it's Miss Hall, and we are going to work today on multiplying fractions using a number line. So let me get my screen ready to go. All right. So we are going to start right here. So if you look closely, I've already drawn our first problem out for us. So we've worked on multiplication with whole numbers, and now we're going to add multiplication with fractions to this. So when you look, the problem we have here is 4 times 1/6. Well, that means in this particular problem that we have 4 groups of the fraction 1/6. So we would draw our number line, cut our number line into equal parts. And I've gone on and labeled this number line. So we started with 0. And then we've got 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, 6/6, 7/6, 8/6, and 9/6. Okay. And remember from what you learned in 3rd grade, this is cut into 6. That would be right here where this is one whole. So from this point here to here is our 6 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, just a reminder. So I've got to do 4 groups of 1/6. So I'm going to do jumps on my number line. So you'll see I've got jumps here. So here was 1/6. I made 1 jump. I made another 1/6 jump. So now I've got 2 jumps. I made another 1/6 jump. Now I've got 3. And I made another 1/6 jump. Now I've got 4 jumps or 4 groups. Sometimes in my head, I'll even say like 4 jumps of 1/6. So I made my jumps or my groups, and then I circle where I landed on, or if I'm using paper, I can highlight, and I landed on 4/6. Therefore, 4 times 1/6 equals 4/6. All right, let's look at another one. All right, here is 7 times 1/10. Oop, there we go. Okay, so I went on and drew my number line ahead of time. And this number line, we have cut into tenths. There's your whole right here, 10 tenths. So if I'm looking at how I cut my number line, this is where your one whole was. So from here to here, that's where you've got your 10 equal groups. Well, 7 times 1/10 means 7 groups of 1/10 or 7 jumps of 1/10. So right here, there's 1/10. So there's 1 jump. I've got to do 7 though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Circle where I landed, which was 7 tenths. So 7 times 1/10 equals 7 tenths. All right, look at our next one. So if I have 4 times 2/10, that means 4 groups of 2/10. Okay, so I'm looking at my number line. This time I don't have it labeled. We're going to label that now. But it says that I have to jump, like to make one group, it's 2/10. So in the other 2 problems, we were just jumping one of these, but this says 2. So for me to make 1 jump, I start at 0, and I've got to go over 2 spots on the number line to get 2/10. But I got to have 4 groups or 4 jumps. So that's only 1. So I'm going to go another 1, 2. So I'm going to go to 4/10. So now I've got 2 jumps. I got to go over 2 more. Let's see. So 1, 2. Now I'm at 6/10. But I've only made 3 groups. So let's do another one. another group of 2. How I got that group of 2 is right here. There's 1, there's 2. That's how I got my group of 2. So now I've made 4 groups or 4 jumps. I'm going to circle where I landed. And then we see that we got an answer of what? 8/10. Okay. All right, so now let's look at some task cards. Give me just a second. Is this one hidden up here? Okay. So we're only going to look at the ones that I've highlighted in yellow. The number line's already drawn. So this one, they've just switched it around. I've been saying the whole number first. This is 1/4 times 2. We know that also can be 2 times 1/4. So that means that I have 2 jumps of 1/4. So 1/4 means one of these little spots on my number line, but I got to jump make 2 groups or 2 jumps. I start at 0. I'm going to go 1, 2, and this is the spot that I landed on. Okay, now this number line is not labeled. So here's your 0, here's your 1. It's cut into 4 spots. So that means this is 0, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4. So again, what was this spot here? 1/4, 2/4. Therefore, 1/4 times 2 equals 2/4. And those of you that have already started recognizing that you can make it an equivalent fraction with that, we know that half of 2 is 1 and half of 4 is 2. So you could also say that's 1/2. Okay, look at number 3. This is 1/6 times 3, which would be the same as 3 times 1/6. So my jumps again are just the 1/6, and I'm going to make 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, and I land right here. Now this one is cut into 6. So that means this is 0, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, and 6, 6. So what was this one again? 3/6. 3 is half of 6, so we could also say this equals 1/2. Okay, number 4 is 1/2 times 2, which is the same as 2 times 1/2. So we could say 2 groups or 2 jumps of 1/2. So here's a half, but we got to make 2 jumps. 1, 2. What did we end up on? 1. As a fraction, though, that would be, this is 1/2, that would be 2/2. So the correct answer is 2/2, or you could say 1, because we know 2/2 is the same as 1/2. Number 5, 1/4 times 3 is the same as 3 times 1/4, which would be 3 groups of 1/4. So I'm going to jump 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, right there. Get my cursor there. So since we're counting by fourths here, this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So 1/4 times 3 equals 3/4. Okay, 1/4 times 8. Again, you'll notice all of these problems are just jumping by 1. Keep in mind though, if it was 2/4, your jump would have to have 2. If it was 3/4, your jump would have to have 3. So keep that in mind. So we're going to do 8 groups of 1/4 or 8 jumps of 1/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one we landed on 2. Down here, 1/3 times 3, we're going to jump 3 groups of 1/3. So 1, 2, 3. This one we landed on 1/2. So this is just one of several ways you guys are learning to multiply fractions. But remember, there's always the go-to way, which would be the traditional way of just going back and being able to multiply straight across. But just keep in mind, a lot of your questions you'll see will need pictures. But this one, if you are doing just the traditional way, remember if you have 5, that really means 5 over 1. Let me get my marker here. Because 5 wholes, that's 5 over 1. So to make that a little neater, that would be 5 over 1 times 1/6. Remember, this is a shortcut way if you didn't have a number line that you could use. Just multiply across. 5 times 1 is 5, and 1 times 6 is 6. You just multiply across. So your answer is 5/6. All right, let's try another one. Again, put that 6 over 1. So I'm going to rewrite it. 6 over 1 times 1/5. Multiply that out. 6 times 1 is 6. And 1 times 5 is 5. Now, 6/5 could be your answer, or you could turn that into a mixed number. 5 will go into 6 one time. It's and then we would have 1/5 left over. So you could also say that your answer is 1 and 1/5. Okay, down here, doing the shortcut way, 5 times 1/3, we put that over 1. So it's 5 over 1 times 1/3. And then we multiply, just go straight across. 5 times 1 is 5. And 1 times 3 is 3. So you could say 5 over 3, but that is improper. If we want to change that to a mixed number, 3 will go into 5 one time. And then you are left with the fraction 2/3. So you could say 1 and 2/3. All right, last one. 1/10 times 2, we're going to put that over 1. So if I want to rewrite that a little neater, 1/10 times 2 over 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 10 times 1 is 10. You could also reduce that down. Half of 2 is 1. Half of 10 is 5. So either answer would work for me, 2/10 or 1/5. So now you've practiced 2 ways for multiplying a whole number times a fraction. We've used number lines, and then we've used the traditional multiplying across way. Good luck when you practice this. See you guys later.